Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Caitlin Clark. These two teams very familiar with each other. Split the regular season series a year ago, and in the playoffs, it was Indiana getting past Atlanta in 3 without Caitlin Clark. And we are underway at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Dream have won 2 in a row. Fever looking to snap a 2-game losing skid. First meeting of the regular season between these two squads. Here's Mitchell on the move, out to Hull. Hull in the paint, stops, finds a cutting. Mitchell lays it up and off. Battle for the board, out of bounds, and it'll be Atlanta Rock.
And if you're Carl Semesco, you were really close to getting upset with your team because he talked about the back cutting of Kelsey Mitchell a lot in shoot-around today.
He's been happy with the defense overall, but there are moments and little things that he would like to clean up. And they're coming off of that big win Tuesday over Connecticut. Howard over to Gray. Shot clock winding down. Hillman gonna have to make it happen. Outside, Canada got a grenade and goes glass.
I thought she shot that a little earlier than she had to. I didn't think she needed to rush it that much.
This is Clark from deep. No good, and rebound Billings. Hull lost it off the heel, scooped up by Billings. And 6 seconds to work with. Boston on the try. Boston floats it up off the mark, and Reese clears the board, once again leading the W in rebounding.
Look at her run the floor.
Reese couldn't put it in, and here comes Clark the other way. Atlanta with an early 3-0 advantage. Billings, in her first season with the Fever, over to Mitchell. Mitchell, the midi. No.
And that will be an interesting matchup to watch because Jordan Canada can match with Kelsey Mitchell speed for speed.
Yep, the quickness, for sure.
Reese, over to Howard. This game features 4 of the top 6 scorers in the W this season as Howard is fouled on the way to the rim. And you see Caitlin animated already.
Just taking advantage of the matchup. Power sees that she has the advantage here, going to attack and get her. And at that point, you see the left arm come down from Clark there, and that's what can't happen. Once you get beat, don't make one mistake into 2, right? I'm already beat to the basket. Concede the layup there. The layup there is far less damaging than picking up an early foul in the game.
We heard our crew in the studio, Swin Cash, Ty Young, talking about this. Caitlin Clark being picked on defensively. What's the response if you're Clayton in this situation? Again, it's a team game, but she's been singled out in defensive situations.
Well, I mean, the response is to compete, but really, Grady, the response is the details. Like, you know what Ryan Howard wants to do. And so the response is, from a scouting report standpoint, force her to do something that she's not very good at doing or not as good at doing. And if she does that and beats you, you just tip your hat to her.
Clark flips it up and off, and Howard the board.
So Stephanie White mentioned this stat in the pregame interview with Kayla, and she talked about restricted area. And she said, we have the 3rd most restricted area field goal attempts in the WNBA, but we're 12th best in percentage. What have we seen already? 3 missed shots in the restricted area, right? And so that's a part of the offensive and the quarter court specifically that Indiana needs to improve.
Clark dump off the hole in the lane, puts it in.
And what happens when you hit those shots? You can now set up your defense and get positioned the way you want to, get your matchups the way you want. Everyone's ready to play on this end of the floor.
Canada gave it up. This is Hillman, 3-ball, long, and rebound secured by Boston. Here comes Clark the other way. Atlanta an early 4-2 advantage. Boston. Outside, Mitchell for 3. Rims out, and Gray with the rebound in traffic.
And I was trying to figure out, was Jordan Canada leaving to double that far?
Listen, this is what we say without the timing. If you're going to leave like that, you better get that ball.
Seriously.
Okay? There is no option. You cannot, because if you're going to leave Kelsey Mitchell 20.6 points per game,
it better be from good
you better get it.
That's right.
You can take gambles, but you better get it, man.
Mitchell 3rd in the W in scoring. She is second in franchise history in career points, and this is Naz Hillman at the free throw line for the Dream. As we take a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule, tomorrow on Ion, the Sun taking on the Sky, the Wings at the Sparks, Saturday on ABC, the Storm at the Lynx, Valkyries at the Aces, then Saturday on CBS, the Fever taking on the Liberty. Free throws good for Hillman.
Composed start for Atlanta. That's one of the things Carl Smesco talked about, right? Understand you're going into a Lions Den tonight, a team that wants to have the response, and they've done a nice job here early on.
Billings left it short. And here comes Atlanta the other way. Canada. And now it's Howard, averaging 19 points per game so far this season. This is a good look for Hillman. Whistle blows. And it's going the other way. No basket. It's an offensive foul on Angel Reese.
But if you're Naz Hillman and they're going to give you that kind of spacing, you absolutely have to knock that down and take a look. Yep, Angel Reese with a hold there, called for that foul.
Clark on an island with Howard. Sees a double, gave it up to Mitchell. Mitchell hits the accelerator, puts it up and in.
You're already beat. I mean, that's just a lot of speed.
This is Canada with the long two, no good. Boston the rebound in traffic. Mitchell. Matched up with Hillman. Over to Boston, extra pass, Hall in the corner, no. And loose ball foul, they'll keep it here. Going against Naz Hillman.
I mean, this is just quick to her strong side, left side, and Naz Hillman was out of position on the catch, so she didn't even have an opportunity to try to defend that because of where she was on the floor.
Right, well, the ghost action, and Indiana runs a lot of guard-to-guard actions, and so they get you caught between the switch and not switching, and that gives you that poor angle a lot of times on the closeouts to get to the basket.
Clark, the step back, good. First field goal for Caitlin Clark. Gray spinning inside, put it up and in. That's Gray's first field goal. Clark inside to Boston, good position, spins, blocked from behind by Reese. Howard. Hand off to Gray. Pass inside, Reese made the catch, surrounded by red jerseys. Good ball movement. It rotates to Canada for three, left it short.
But you have to like that possession if you're Carl Smesco.
This is Clark, too strong, and Reese got up for the board.
Multiple players touching the ball, good ball movement, good shot.
Canada, no.
Not so much on that.
And Clark avoids what would have been a second foul. Boston. Hole now. Billings. Boston won't take the three. Atlanta bench wanted to travel. Billings had good position and a foul.
There are issues that they needed to address internally. I think what's really challenging, and I'm speaking from a coach's perspective here, is when people are hypothesizing about what those issues are and don't know because they're not on the inside. This team clearly has things that they need to address and they need to improve. They've talked about it. Let's see, obviously, in a game situation, if they're going to be able to rectify those.
Yeah, here's your opportunity to really show and prove what that communication was. Is it moving your team forward? Is it going to help you be better? Then if it is, fine.
This is Reese inside with the hard two. Substitutions both ways. Raven Johnson, the rookie, with the handle right now for Indiana. Michaela Timpson also on the floor for the Fever. Tahina Pow in there for Atlanta. Mitchell. Pass deflected and nearly stolen. It makes its way to Boston from downtown. Swish. Boston shooting 35% from downtown this season. Pow lost the handle. And Johnson with the hustle. Here comes Indiana. Mitchell. And that is a hard screen. Michaela Timpson picking up the offensive foul. Second turnover for Indiana.
I didn't like it, Riley. It looked like she was there.
What a great two really good game-changing possessions by Johnson right inserted into the game, right? 50-50 ball underneath the basket, kick to Boston for three, and then scrapes out that loose ball as well. I mean, that's what she can do for this team.
Atlanta turns it over, and that should be a transition take foul. And with that being on Angel Reese, that's going to be her second.
That's not smart. That's not smart from Angel there. And again, it goes back to, like, especially with Atlanta in a short bench.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's one of the storylines for Atlanta this season, right? I mean, they're heavily relying on their starters, not just for minutes, but also for production. And at that point, again, the 2 points by Kelsey Mitchell there is less damaging than the second foul for Reese with 3 minutes left in the first quarter.
Speaking of that, and to highlight your point, Kara, the last win for Atlanta over Connecticut, they put up 91 points. Every single point came from the starters.
Yeah.
Just 3 shot attempts from the second unit.
In addition to, when you say short bench, a young bench, and
yes,
an inexperienced bench.
Mitchell. Attack mode. Mitchell does not get the roll. And Canada with the rebound. Dream leading by 1. Hillman. A good defense by Johnson with the steal. Johnson. Outside Boston. 3 more. Short. Canada. Gray averaging a career high in points. Stops at the free throw line. Shot won't drop. Rebound by Cunningham.
And that was good contest on the switch by Aaliyah Boston.
Boston. Looking to back down Hillman. Skip pass. Cunningham. Quick trigger. Goal! Cunningham has been struggling with that shot. Sub 30% from downtown this season. This is Hillman got free for the leg.
Yeah, really nice read there. Slips out of it. Empty basket or empty help side. No help side there at the rim. And Hillman just does so many things for this team. And, you know, a lot of these players that we should talk about loudly. Howard, Gray, Reese. But Hillman, I think, is a critical piece.
Mitchell. Just dynamite from anywhere on the floor. Knocks down the J. 5 early points for Kelsey Mitchell. And Okot battling inside. And a foul is called.
Look at this pass here by Aaliyah Boston. I mean, you got a couple of folks that look like they want to go double, but it's the strength to get that pass out and the angle to avoid the defense. And I love the energy that Kelsey Mitchell has come out with in this game. After what has happened in the last 2 contests, you want a response from your team. Her level of energy and aggressiveness is meeting the moment right now for Indiana.
Well, we had this team a week ago with China, and there's no doubt that there's more of a focus in their facial expressions, in their body language, in their approach, in their intensity defensively. I mean, all of that is more present than it was last Thursday in San Francisco.
Maisha Hines-Allen with the rejection. It went off the foot of Okot. Officials originally ruled it Atlanta ball, but they get it right. And it'll be Indiana rock. Maisha Hines-Allen. Instant impact on the defensive end. And a hard screener. Clark got some space. Fires. Can't hit. And rebound bounces around. And Okot comes out of there with it. 35 seconds on the first quarter game clock. Atlanta could be looking for a 2-for-1. They're going to run out of time on that as a foul is called inside. And it's going to be on Michaela Timpson. And that's going to be her 3rd.
She has a lot of size and a lot of strength down there. She's trying to wrestle with, okay? I mean, that's a hard ducking, and she's trying to swim around. I mean, it is difficult.
This is Medina Okad, first Kenyan player drafted in the first round of the WNBA draft, knocked down the first. Press play on live cup games with WNBA League Pass. Stream more live Commissioner's Cup games and access more ways to watch than ever. Get League Pass today for $39.99 for the year.
It was interesting to hear Carl Smesco talk about the potential. You know, and that he feels she's going to be an all-star down the road.
Here she is inside, got the leg.
Look at that finish. Light on her feet. Even though she's big body, she can move. She's got mobility, and that's a nice soft touch for a player that hasn't been playing basketball very long.
Just 21 years young. She ties the game up at 15, 7 seconds. Johnson, the rookie, time running out. Handoff, Clark has to fire. Made a pass as the horn sounds. And after one
is committed to the defensive end. Everyone else follows suit. And then you've got Jordan Canada who can pressure the ball. Then you talked about Alicia Gray's improvement on that end of the floor. And we know what Angel Reese can do defensively along with Naz Hillman.
This is Reese with the handle. Shot clock winding down on the drain. Reese, they're going to have to put it up. Ball on the floor. It's a shot clock violation and a turnover to start the second.
And that was a matchup Stephanie White talked about. Maisha Hines-Allen has had success against Angel Reese in her career defensively, and her physicality with Reese, Stephanie White thought could be a factor in this game.
Clark around the Hines-Allen screen. Clark to the rack, blocked by Okad.
She's showing us.
Yeah.
She's showing us something.
The
tonight.
rookie
I like
is
it.
moving.
I like
He's
it.
moving.
I like it. I'm really impressed with Atlanta's defense. And to go back to the point about the improvement on that end, I mean, this is terrific. Chase down, that length that she has. We talk so much, and we should, about what Gray and Howard do offensively. Both of their improvements defensively this year, I think, is what makes Atlanta a legitimate contender, specifically when Bree Jones gets back.
Yes.
And the box out there from Reese. She touched it last. And it will stay with Indiana. The Fever will get a fresh 14. There is Carl Smesco in his second season as head coach of Atlanta. Hines-Allen trying to find a cutting Sophie Cunningham, and Alicia Gray with the hands. Howard back to Gray. They're taking their time on the perimeter. Caught Canada on the move. Stops. Kick out to Reese. Can't hit the tray. She hit her first three of the season Tuesday against Connecticut. Hand off to Clark. Clark got some space. Bottoms. She's now 2 for 8 with that make. 5 points, and the Fever lead by 3. Skip pass for Reese. Over to Howard. Howard going dancing with Clark. Howard dump off, and Reese couldn't handle it.
How many plays, consecutive plays, has Maisha Hines-Allen been a factor? Right here, just completely takes Ryan Howard out with the screen there, but also her activity on defense, the way she recovers, she understands the game, high basketball IQ. And everyone better look out, because now that she's starting to grasp what is required in this system, she's going to be that much more impactful.
Atlanta 11th in the WNBA in turnovers per game. They have 7 already here in the first half. Howard leading the W in steals. Howard going at Boston and rims out. Clark on the move, stops on a dime, and cutoff finds Boston for 3. And Atlanta will call time.
Better start at home. They've had a couple days to reset, regroup. And we've seen some good things here early.
They've hit more shots from beyond the arc than inside the arc, speaking of Indiana. 5 threes, 3 shots from inside the arc. As they lead by 6, Howard in the corner, surrounded. Gave it up to Canada, who goes down, and a foul is called on Clark for a push. That's going to be her second.
But I like the call by Stephanie White out of the timeout to inject some energy in her defense, trapping here. And then from the behind angle, looks like Clark might have had that right hand on the back of Jordan Canada.
Indiana #1 in pace. Stephanie White talking often about her team needs to get into transition. They've been forcing turnovers early and often in this one as Gray misses from downtown. Billings, hand off to Clark. Clark just lost the handle on the way to the rim.
You know, one of the parts of Aaliyah Boston's game that's improved is that three-point shooting. And you know, the delta between the two teams right now is the 6 points, and she's got 2 threes. And you know, Indiana finding spacing is critically important with their front court, and she's the player that's most equipped in their front court to knock down shots consistently. A great sign for their offense that she's hitting a 3-point shot early.
Shot clock winding down on Atlanta. Hillman looking for Okot in the post. This is Okot going to have to put it up. Stops off glass for 2.
Give me more of that. That's tough. She does. It's like she doesn't even know how strong she is.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? It's like she's just exploring now, like in the space. I mean, she can be a dominant force. Look at her run.
Dream force a turnover. Gray missing from beyond the arc. And here comes Clark across the timeline. Over to Mitchell. Mitchell shifting. Back to Clark. Inside to Billings, and she's pushed from behind by Ryan Howard.
You get caught down there, and sometimes it happens. I'll tell you what, I do not want to get caught down there against her.
My goodness. And then, I mean, the wherewithal, with the step through to let the defense go by. Quality minutes for that young woman.
5 points, couple of rebounds off the bench. She'll take a seat as Angel Reese checks back in. Reese with 5 rebounds, also playing with 2 fouls. How about Mitchell cutting off the inbound for 2. Indiana by 6. Hillman in the lane, blocked by Billings. Mid-range, Jay won't go.
Some standing on offense on that possession by Atlanta.
Pass inside, Boston, good position. Oh, the okey-doke, can't hit. And a rebound secured by Hillman. Near the midway mark of the second quarter. Indiana trying to get back to some defensive principles. Have to be pleased with their effort thus far. As Billings breaks up that pass.
You gotta stay beneath there. That's what you don't want to give up. I mean, that's a freebie. That's not something we see a lot from Atlanta. It's just a breakdown there in Canada's body position. But how about the improvement there, possession to possession? Remember early on in the game, Hillman slips out of a screen, gets a wide open layup. There's no help side. Flight of the pass, Billings is there this time. It's a deflection out of bounds. So great job by Indiana to make that adjustment.
Just 2 points so far in the second quarter for the Dream on 1 of 7 shooting.
But I will say, this favors the Dream. 23-17. I mean, where they have struggled most this season has been on the offensive end, right? But defensively, you're holding Indiana to 23 points in 15 minutes of play. You're not happy you have 17 points, but your defense has held up.
And we'll see if that made free throw can get Ryan Howard going. She's without a field goal to this point after 36 in the last game, right? So you want to try to find a way, if you're Atlanta, to get her some more opportunities.
This is Canada from downtown.
And that changes your offense when Canada can hit from long range.
4-point possession for Atlanta. Boston got free inside. And Clark gets another assist, her 5th of the ball game. still playing without Bree Jones. Had that torn meniscus, had surgery. Dream turn it over again. Mitchell chases down the rock. Stops over to Clark. Touch pass. Hull inside. And Hull is fouled.
I mean, there's been a number of these passes from Caitlin Clark. Just darts right up the floor to Aaliyah Boston. Not a lot of pressure on the ball. Defense isn't necessarily in position near the basket to get a tip.
Well, she has 5 assists, and she really should have had 6 though.
Yeah.
On the touch pass to Hull. I thought Hull should have quick up that, finished that early on the left side of the basket. So playmaking, I mean, yes, just 2 for 8 from the field, but the way she's spreading the ball around with her teammates is at, I would say, her typical high level. I mean, she's one of the best playmakers in the country, in the world, not just the country, right?
Yeah.
Just 1 turnover so far for Caitlin Clark. She's been spreading it around. 1 more free throw for Lexi Hull in her 5th year out of Stanford. 27-21, Indiana on top. You see the black and white basketball, an indicator of this being a Commissioner's Cup game. Atlanta 1-0 in Commissioner Cup play. This is Indiana's first game of the Commissioner's Cup. They, of course, won the title last season, beating Minnesota in the title game. Mitchell got some space and hits. Indiana run. Canada. In the lane, nearly lost the handle, kick out. Hillman flicks the wrist and connects.
That's confidence. That is a confident stroke from Naz Hillman, who has picked up her shooting here in the last few games, getting more efficient from the field.
Clark off the feed from Boston. Indiana's outscored Atlanta 17-9 here in this second quarter. Canada, nice delivery. Reese with the bucket.
That's really good. Really good by Canada. Just to keep the dribble alive, attack the switch, and then be able to have the dump down pass to Reese.
Canada is 4th in the WNBA in assists per game this season. We have a kickball here.
Too. I'm making sure I'm working my butt off on the defensive end, so I feel like that has helped elevate everything else around me, guys.
Austin has matched her career high with 2 made threes. How about that time? Hines Allen with the hoop.
That's the second time they've scored out of that look. Remember the backdoor cut with Mitchell? So Canada does a good job of staying beneath there, and then Hines Allen gets loose. So productive sideline out here for Indiana in the first half. To stay underneath, and then there's the back screen. And Howard just gets tagged on it a little bit. Atlanta shifting, maybe to try and shift momentum, but also put young players in, going for guard here, okay? Howard at the 4, so that's a change. And what that does is it puts Howard on Hines Allen, okay? And that's the strength and physicality advantage that they took advantage of in that sideline out.
Ryan Howard, slow start, just 0 for 2 from the floor. As we mentioned, coming off that 36-point performance on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. Ryan Howard's been quiet. Alicia Gray's been quiet. 1 for 6. 4 points between the 2 of them.
Here's Mitchell. On the drive around the world, will retreat beyond the arc. Over to Cunningham. And a 3-second violation. So Indiana turns it over, their 7th of the first half. It is a 7-point advantage for Indiana. Gourlays. Outside, Canada wants 3. Won't go. Rebound secured by Johnson. Hines Allen. Nice dump off, but Cunningham couldn't control it out of bounds. And back-to-back turnovers for Indiana.
just like the way they're playing. I like the way Indiana's playing. You know, it's not been perfect. There's been some sloppiness. There's been some miss, but there's more of an urgency about them. There's more of emotion about them. There's more of a connectedness about them, and that's what I wanted to see. You know, coming into today, I think their ceiling is every bit as high as it was to start the season. And so to see this, you have to play this way to capture the growth that your team needs to get. That's the thing. It's not just about like, you can't sleepwalk your way to the end of the season. You have to continue to grow as a team. You play this way, you capture way more growth than if you play the way they did out on the West Coast.
And you talked about it. We talked about it off air. And Caitlin Clark mentioned this in talking with our Kayla Gray. They're 4-4. They're not 2-6. That's a long 2 from Kelsey Mitchell. Still a lot of basketball left to be played this season. 9-point advantage, largest lead of the ball game for the Fever. Gray with the shot clock winding down once again. Borlase on the move, blocked by Boston. Last touched by Atlanta. It's Indiana ball.
And as much as we've talked about how good the Atlanta defense is, the Atlanta offense has struggled this year. And they go through stretches where they don't score the ball very well. And in the half court, Howard and Gray in the first half have been bottled up. They're forced to either give up the ball or take shots that are really, really challenged, which is what Indiana's game plan was. Atlanta's going to have to figure that out. How do I manufacture easier shots against some of the top teams in the league?
Clark over to Boston. Boston going at Hillman. Step through. Boston, wild shot won't go. Borlase with the board. 40 seconds to go in the second. Borlase, step through, put it in with the left. That stops a little bit of the bleeding. Boston. Indiana can't execute the 2-for-1. Mitchell behind the back, looking at Boston inside. Mitchell on the move, push shot drops.
No one has been able to stop her from getting to her spot. She is going left, using the hezzy, being methodical, probing, just to get back to where she wanted to go in the beginning.
14 points for Kelsey Mitchell. Howard gives it up. Borlase, clock winding down, and the clock expires.